Hey there, 5th grade mathematicians. Today we're going to take a look at entry task day 116. Problem number 1. Which fraction model best represents the expression 2 times 3 6? I like to think of 2 times 3 6 as 2 copies of 3 6. So I'm going to look at the models that have 2 copies of something. That eliminates A and C. So then I can focus on B and D. And as we look at D, we see that it is in sixths, and 3 of them are shaded for each one. So that represents 2 copies of 3 6. Problem number 2. Enter the number of hours equal to 480 minutes. As you all know, this is a conversion problem. So we write down what we start with, 480 minutes. And it equals how many hours? I'm going to write my specific conversion, 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. And I know that when I have a larger unit of measure and going to a smaller unit, I have a smaller unit of measure going to a larger unit of measure, smaller to larger, I'm going to divide. So I will take 480 divided by 60. And I know from my basic math facts that 48 divided by 6 is 8. So 480 divided by 60 would be 8. And in this case, we see that 480 minutes is 8 hours. Problem number 3. Enter, add 3 and 2, and then multiply by 12 as an expression. So in math, when we do something in an equation, what tells us that we do it first? And that would be, as you all know, parentheses. So the first thing I do is I'm going to add 3 and 2. And I put parentheses to tell that that's the first thing. And then I can multiply. So there's my expression. I do not need to solve this problem because it just says to enter that as an expression. And that takes us on to problem number 4. You guys are probably listening to all that noise in the background. Those are the goats in my neighbor's yard. They're going crazy for some reason tonight. So enter the value of the product of 9 and 2/10 times 5 minus 5. So first thing I do is multiply 9 and 2/10 with 5. And I have tenths, so this is 460 tenths, which is equal to 46. Okay, and that makes sense because I know 9 times 5 is 45, and 10 times 5 is 50. So my answer is going to be between, when I multiply that, it's going to be between 45 and 50. So now I subtract 5, and remember when we add and subtract, we always line up our place values, and this is 5 ones. So 46 minus 5 is 41. 41.0, which is the same as 41. Okay, and that takes us to problem number 5. Patterns A and B are generated using these rules. Pattern A, start with 1 and add 2. And pattern B, start with 3 and add 2. So, if I start with, for pattern A, it says start with 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to do the first 5. Pattern B, start with 3 and add 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. And 9 plus 2 is 11. And now I'm going to graph 3 points. So I can graph any 3 points. And what's interesting for this is that all 3 points are going to actually be on the same line. That's one of the cool things about this. I'm just going to choose those 3 points. So my ordered pairs are 3, 5, 5, 7, and 7, 9. And it doesn't matter which 3 points you choose. So let me go over here and graph it. So we start with the origin. We go 1, 2, 3, up 5, and that is our first order pair. We start at the origin, go over 5 and up 7. And then we start at the origin, go over to 7 and up to 9. And notice these are all on. If I was to draw a line, oops. They should all be on the same line, but the problem is I started my line in the wrong spot, so let me redo that. Let me go here, and so why is it that those are not on the same line? And what I can do is I can look over here and I can see, well, when I did 7 and 9, I was off a little bit. So one of the things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you accurately graph your points. And if they're all following this is called a function rule. Okay, and if they're all following the same function rule here, you're going to create a line. Okay, so there you have it, and you can see, you know, one of the things I do sometimes is I will check my work by, like I just did, and that will help to reveal some mistakes that I could possibly make. And contrary to popular opinion, Mr. Gilman occasionally makes mistakes. All right, have a good day, you guys.